Hey everybody, it's EK from EK Gorman Designs, and I am coming in today with a little copic coloring just in times for Mother's Days. I am using this Oddball Art digital stamp, IMG377 Letters to Mom. And if you can't read it, it says Mom. I know it's hard to hide the fact that I'm your favorite. It's okay. Kind of thought that was hilarious, and let's be honest, I am my mother's favorite, and I can only say that knowing my brother will never actually watch this. So, haha, I am Mom's favorite. I decided to put the paper on a desk. It clearly needed some surface to sit on for her elbows to not be floating randomly in space. And using a pencil and a Copic-friendly pen, I just very gently drew in some perspective lines. Nothing fancy, I swear. It's really not fancy. And then I pulled out my Copic markers and started coloring. I adhere to the Copic notion that when you're doing skin tone, if you lay a little purple down, it's going to look a little bit more realistic than if you just use earth tones. And I'm basing this image a little on myself. I don't really look like this, but I'd like to pretend I look like this, so I'm using my coloring. And she's got some curl or waves in her hair, and I have some curls and waves in my hair, so you know, I'm projecting myself onto the card. For anybody who's checking this out, this image is being used this weekend for Mother's Day over at Oddball Image. It was kind of a promotional idea, so make sure you go over to Oddball Art and check out the what's going on in the shop. They've launched their brand new website. They're moving off the Etsy platform and onto their own independent website, which is very, very exciting because the control that Oddball Art's going to be able to have over what they do is really going to be amazing. One of the great things happening over at the new store, and that new store's name, by the way, in case you don't know it, is oddballartco.com. One of the exciting things happening over at this new store is there are things like Oddball Art TV, in which YouTube videos of oddball imaging and projects are there, right there, where you can click on them and you don't have to go hunting through YouTube to find them. There is tutorials at the new store. There is step-by-step, picture tutorials. There's a monthly challenge. There's the ATC, which is Artist Trading Card Swap, happening. Anyway, go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. I'm coloring the hair, and this may not be my best coloring job in the history of hair. I'd like to pretend it is, but it's not. I was trying a new combination of browns just to mess around, and they muddled just a little bit too much together, and then I foolishly put that part down the center, and I don't think it worked. But she's cute and she's joyful, and if you know me, you know I don't do things multiple times. I color it once, and I learn to live with the imperfections, because as I teach children when I teach them art, a mistake is nothing but an opportunity for perfection. We don't erase our mistakes, we use them. And I try to live what I preach to kids, so when I sit down to color something, I do it first time only. I don't do a practice one and then bring back another one, because frankly, I am human and I make mistakes, and I think everybody should know that. When putting the sentiment into the word bubble, I cut off some of these hearts. So using my microfine pen, I added them back in, added some of the lines back in. This digital stamp comes with a whole sheet of Mother's Day inspired sentiments. And I just cropped it and printed it instead of cutting it out and adding it into the word bubble, which is what I probably should have done. Live and learn. I'm trying a new combination for a wood desk. I wanted the desk to be duller than her hair. So I pulled out my 40 series and started coloring, and lo and behold, my E43 is ridiculously dry. It's so dry you can actually see the nib being dry. So I got it filled in as best I could, and then just kind of laid down some simple shadows and some simple wood grains into the desk. And then when I came back to blend everything out, I didn't use that E43 because it didn't just have enough juice to do it. I pulled out the E42, which is close enough. We're going to use that term real loosely. It's close enough to make it work. Yeah, my mid-tone was the 44, the E44, and again, I pulled out my real light E42 just to blend everything out. And it's not perfect, but it works. And I don't think it pulls focus, which is the key. I used the wrong marker. I meant to use a BV11 here, and I didn't. So it's just a two-tone in the little tank, but that is okay because it's such a small section of the stamp. I wanted to have a little color in the background without making the background too colorful. So I picked another combination of purples, or in this case, violets. I pulled out some violets. I pulled out the V20, V22, and eventually V25 to just kind of create a halo of color around our little letter writer. Just so, you know, it had enough, yeah. So she just kind of was sending off an aura of color. I didn't want the whole background to be colored in. If you've ever seen one of my videos before, you've heard me talk about the ugly you have to go through in creating backgrounds. And we hit the ugly here because it just didn't blend for a while quite the way I wanted it to. But I worked the color until I did get the fade out blend that I wanted. That's why I say eventually pulled out the V25. I had only intended to drop 2 colors in here, but it was it didn't work. What I was aiming to do didn't work at all. So I added a little bit darker color by her body and under some shadowing points, and suddenly my blend out worked. So my question for you this year is, what have you done for your mothers? I sent my mother a bonsai tree. It was supposed to be a flowering gardenia one. There are no flowering gardenias on it yet, but we will find out in the coming weeks and months if it's flowers like it's supposed to. Otherwise, I'm going to be a little annoyed. My mother's favorite flower is a gardenia, so that's why I sent her the bonsai plant. My mother's one of those amazing people who can grow anything. I mean, absolutely, utterly anything. And she's never had a bonsai plant, so I thought it might be fun in her retirement phase of life to have one. She called today. I can only say this because she called to say thank you, and it's already there. I didn't send it on Monday, or I send it on Sunday because flowers don't often deliver on a Sunday. And I figured she could enjoy it a few days earlier. So what you've seen here is an awful, horrible bloop. This is an incredibly juicy marker, and if you've noticed, it blooped. What do I do when my marker bloops? I take the other cap off. By removing the cap on the other end, you kind of pull some of the excess fluid away, and it helps a little bit. It's not perfect, but it definitely helps. Now you can see the background is starting to look a little better. In order to really make the background work, I pulled out my colorless blender, fixed the bloop. I must fix the bloop first. Fix the bloop, and then added just a couple places in the purple background where I purposely broke the color up so there's little like halo effects of light where there's just, I'm bleaching out sections of it. And there we go. To finish the card, I added a purple mat to the sides and put it onto a card frame. I hope for all you mothers out there that you have a great Mother's Day. My kids have already said breakfast in bed, so I'm really excited. For all of you who have mothers, please remember them. This is your early warning to remember. Anyway, thanks for watching today. If you like what you're seeing, click the dragon. That will subscribe you to me. If you want to see more things like this, give me a thumbs up and I'll know this is what you like seeing. Otherwise, happy Mother's Day, everybody. Bye.